Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 106 of the Nomads of Fantasy, a weekly video game and movie podcast where we make any universe our home, or a different universe our home every week. I'm gonna get that right. This with me, as always, I have Brandon.
I'm going first. Oh yeah, it just hit me. And she's got the most incredible body too, and a pair of titties that make you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk.
Good old Bill Paxton there. All right, we also have Dave here with us.
Your life's in the crapper, so your wife is banging a used car salesman. It's humiliating, I know, but god damn it, Harry, take it like a man.
Take it like a man, Harry.
Oh God, shit.
If you don't know those quotes, we are talking about True Lies this week. It is the 1994 action comedy directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold.
I'm Arnold,
Yeah. All
We've
the stars
discovered
are here.
we just like talking about Arnie movies, and
This is the summer of Arnold,
summer of
baby.
Arnold, yeah.
Let's
this
go.
is the third movie, right?
Soak it
Because
up.
we did
Dude, we need
Predator?
Action Hero.
Yeah.
Then but recently we did like Predator, like not too
Predator.
long ago.
Dude, I want next month for Summer of Arnold, we should do Running Man because I haven't seen it.
Yes,
That's my other
Oh, you
Arnold
haven't
hole.
seen this, right?
There's still some summer left there, Eric. We
Dude.
can always get Running
Let's
Man in.
Let's slot
Running Man
in.
and Total Recall. Those are in
I
my
know, I
top
know.
3, top 5 of Arnold movies.
Dude,
He
I'm
is a
into
big cup of
Summer of
tomato
Arnold
soup.
right
You
now.
Just get in, just
Oh,
this
so comfy. So
you're
nice
good
and
hand
warm.
with Arnold.
Imagine if Arnold just
soak it in.
imagine if Arnold just came up and gave you a great big bear hug.
I would
Mhm.
cry. He
Carried me like a
he was
little
like
toddler.
the
Right?
man when I was a kid.
Oh, so good.
The man.
But yeah, we're talking about True Lies this episode, and I'm excited because I have never seen it before. So I'm filling one of my Arnold holes. This kind of came about from our 100th episode when we did the Arnold Schwarzenegger tier list. When I
Oh,
realized
right.
there was like a couple big Arnold movies that I haven't seen before,
Right,
Mhm.
and we're like, let's just get them on the schedule. Why not?
right.
And True Lies was
Oh,
one of those
stop
where
us.
I'm like, I didn't know, I didn't really know much about it going in. I'm like, and Brandon,
Oh, okay.
you were kind of putting it over a lot, saying this is like one of Arnold's
it's
best
a
movies,
James Cameron movie. We
Yeah.
know from like The Abyss, which is an incredible movie. The guy makes good movies.
I mean, he's worked with Arnold before, obviously, Terminator.
right twice before this.
So yeah.
Terminator and yeah, right.
So yeah,
Did he do the first Terminator? Right.
I
No.
don't
Terminator
remember.
2.
Was it just
He did
Terminator
T2.
2? I
Or
guess.
no, maybe no. Sorry, you're right.
Was
I
it both?
looking at-
Okay.
I was looking at his awards,
Oh,
Okay.
not his actual
awards.
filmography. Excuse me.
All right. Well, yeah, we took to the social medias as well to get other people's thoughts on this movie. If you want to follow us over there, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter. Our buddy Mike from Games My Mom Found said he's seen parts of it, but he has no memory of it.
I could
Not a
see,
good
like,
sign.
I
Mike,
could
you
see that
should
being, like,
you should rewatch
catching on TNT or something like that. Something that they probably.
It's
played
gotta. I mean, they gotta be playing this. They had to be playing this on
Dave,
cable.
were you like me? Because we're the same age. Like, did you see this movie like 50 times when you were a kid, and then you haven't seen it since?
I probably saw it like once or twice after it came out. Like,
Oh, really?
This had to have been like a
This movie
movies
saw it
plus blockbuster rental. Like, take
Okay.
home, watch once or twice
Okay.
over a weekend, and be done with it. Because I remember some risque parts with my parents.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, "Whoa, what is going on?"
What is?
There's
Yeah,
some.
Yeah, man.
definitely. One scene in particular.
Yeah.
Nostalgia Cast says the action is next level great. It's James Cameron. What did you expect? Moments are laugh out loud funny, and the movie never really reconciles its two halves as a James Bondian thriller and romantic sex comedy.
Yeah.
Nice, good.
That's
It
a good review, honestly. Like looking at it now in the future and looking at it like not with the hype of Arnold. Yeah.
Mike
What?
again from Games My
He
Mom Found.
returns.
He came back.
Yeah, so
I'm back.
on our second post, it's really funny because he says, "Here's one, please read. What came first, Eric or this movie? So this movie came out in July 1994. I was born in September 1994.
Oh, wow, this movie is older than you.
It
So
is
you're right, a
older
couple
than me
crazy.
by a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, very
Good
close.
question, Mike. I like that.
Kevin the Critic says it's entertaining yet uneven between the typically bonkers action of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and the comedy of its central idea. Still a funny movie that's worth seeing for the stuff that works in it.
Yeah. I found some lulls in it where I was a little
Yeah,
ho-hummed
I got
in the
some
middle.
thoughts. But total
2 hour and 20 long.
it's
That's
a long
fucking long
runtime.
movie.
Long
Yeah.
runtime.
I thought it was
I wasn't
gonna be
expecting.
done, like a half hour earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking this was like at max 2 hours, but then I saw 220. I'm like, oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
there's a lot of movie here. Total 80s 90s Recall podcast says great movie. Tom Arnold is funny, but I never bought him as a covert government operative.
Right.
He's definitely a van guy. You see him running, and you're like, no, he's
No.
not a real CIA.
No, he's the guy in the
Right.
van, the guy in the chair. And over on our Discord, Nomads Fantasy /Discord, our friend Tejas there says an amazing action comedy that showed Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger's ability to perform comedic scenes 1 minute that can turn into explosive action the next.
Totally.
Curtis is wonderful and Arnie is charming. A truly great 90s action movie. We wouldn't have Mr. and Mrs. Smith if this didn't exist.
Which I never saw. Was that?
Which I thought was a good one.
True.
It's a good movie. Brad and Angelina. Like, I think
Usually
that
when
was the
the
movie that
actors
got
are
them
like
together.
married, I don't watch those movies because it's like Gigli and all that shit. Like I don't need to see this. Like,
I
this
mean,
lame.
I would say in Mr. and
Do the
Mrs.
movie, my wife's
Smith,
in it.
I don't think I think that's the movie that got them together, right? I don't think they were
Oh,
together
wow.
before
Oh, really?
that. But
So long ago.
but
I like Brad Pitt.
they did have good chemistry in that movie. Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's a good watch. I would
Okay.
recommend it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fun movie. It's
Was
same idea. Like they're just two spies that are married, but they don't know the other one is a spy. So eventually, like their lives collide.
Okay.
So it's kind
How
of cool.
old is that movie? That movie's from the early 2000s, right?
2000,
I feel like
I remember
Yeah.
watching it when
A
I
while ago.
was in like elementary school. So yeah, early 2000s. Yeah.
stop saying shit like that. Making me feel old. damn you.
maybe middle school.
I was
Oh,
in
shit.
Maybe like 6th, 7th grade or something. So so yeah, 2006,
All right.
2007. Around there.
Was that our last comment?
That was our last comment
Oh, okay.
on True Lies. So that kind of wraps up
Nice.
Act 1 for us here. So we'll take a little breaky break and
Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's
okay.
think what's going on the calendar?
Oh yes, of course. You cannot
What's
forget the
going
calendar.
on?
Let's
Let's
toss it
go.
over
Gotta go to
to
our weatherman.
toss
Take
it over to
Dave.
Dave here for the calendar.
Next week, we are journeying. Well, we're staying here, but we're going to journey to outer space in our hearts. We're going to watch some Contact.
Who's seen Contact? Just me?
I have not.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I have not.
Okay. It's good.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, more.
But
I'm
what's interesting is 'cause,
going into
like,
it thinking it's a documentary.
if you're if you follow along with the show from episode to
Dave
episode,
loves
like,
aliens.
Dave is always like rooting for like aliens. and
Listen,
stuff like
I'm in the same camp with Dave too. So
and I'm like I don't believe in a lot of things, and I'm like no, I don't believe in. I want
Believe
to
in
believe.
ghosts?
I want to believe in aliens. I don't know, but since our last episode and this recording, getting
some
hyped
alien
up for, like,
shit
this,
going down.
there is like legit like NASA's getting a panel together, and they're publicly talking about UFOs specifically. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like something in the above something in I don't know, Iran or
Guys
whatever.
subpoenaing Congress saying that the government is hiding UFOs and that
Well, but those
Hmm.
people I'm like whatever. I'm like
he's a former. We'll get into this next week.
we'll get into it.
Conspiracy.
next
I got
week.
it.
Sorry, I
Sounds
gotta
like
look at
I
episode.
sounds like I have to do my research on this as well.
Yeah.
I gotta follow.
Yeah.
what's
I just
going
wanted to
on.
watch an
Dude.
alien movie, so we're
Tim
watching
Hansen.
Contact.
It's
supposed to be good.
it's an excuse for us to talk. I would argue about aliens.
Yeah, it'll be an argumentative episode. What's
Mhm.
and then after that is are we
Journey
doing-
to the
Journey
West.
to the West.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, that'll be a
should
fun one.
interesting.
None of us have seen.
The old
None
China
of us
don't
have
know what's
seen.
gonna happen there.
Again, another
And-
shout out to Tejas. That was a recommendation from him, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited
appreciate
for
it.
that one. Foreign language
looks
film.
Funny and wacky as shit. So
We haven't done a
I'm ready.
foreign film in a while, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Then
Well, we always try to
get into
listen
July
to
after that.
watch stuff that people suggest. Like we've had success with that. I think it was your uncle Eric, right? That suggested we watch Vox Machina.
Vox
or
Machina,
something.
yeah, man.
And I was like, that show is fantastic.
That's one of our favorite things that we've watched on
Ugh.
this podcast. Season 1 and 2
Yeah.
are great.
So, yeah, if you listen to it, don't be shy. Just suggest anyway. You can email, Discord, whatever,
All that stuff.
whatever. Tweet it at us. Yeah.
nomadsofantasy@gmail.com if you want to email us.
Yeah.
Send us more emails, you know? Like
I know it's a dated thing, but like we like it because it's like a letter has arrived.
I like
sir."
sometimes I like the long form, emails. We could dedicate a whole segment to, emails if we
Dear
had enough.
Nomads, 'tis I have a request for thee.
Oh yeah, if you're feeling froggy, send us an email and we'll definitely read it on the show because I'm always excited when we get emails.
I always go as
coming
far
in.
as you can ask us to do stuff, and we'll probably do it because we're just down like that. We're pretty fun. Actually.
I mean, I said
We've had people suggest games because every episode we do has a game at the end, and like we could.
I've said in an episode long time ago, like send us anything in the email, just whatever you want, and we'll do it.
Too, but...
We haven't gotten in a while, but when
We'll
it does,
read
it's
it.
always random.
So.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little break, and then when we come back, we will get into the nitty gritty of True Lies right after this. And we are back to discuss True Lies. That was my Arnold there.
I was waiting. Who's gonna pop the
Hey,
cherry on
hey.
the Arnie impression?
Cool off. Remember that one? That was one of my favorite
that
one-liners. No, cool off. That was one of Arnold's one-liners in this movie. No, it was this movie. It was when he smashes the guy's head in the urinal. He says, "Cool off."
When he flushes it, that's why.
And then another one, he bonks the two dogs together. He's like, "Stay."
Oh, that was one of my favorite points.
That was hilarious.
So when you
movie so good.
So we got to get it. We got to get this out of the way because to me, it doesn't get any more '90s action comedy than this, right? Yeah. But Eric, you were born a few months after this movie came out.
Yes, I was.
Now you are seeing it in 2023. You're a fan of Arnold.
Of course.
You kind of let it out that you enjoyed this movie, but like, let's just hear it. Like, what was your experience seeing this movie?
Yeah, I really did enjoy this movie a lot. It's interesting because I think it starts out slow, and I know that's weird to say because it starts out with this big bombastic Bond action scene, but
Very
like
James Bond intro.
But like I've seen this stuff
real life
before. I mean, it was interesting seeing the spy stuff, whatever. But like at a certain point with the action, my eyes kind of glaze over, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is Arnold action, blah blah blah. But I think where it really started to pick up for me was in like the second act when the whole mystery is introduced. Like, oh, his wife is hiding something. Also, what's she hiding? And he uses all his government resources to track her and Taylor. Like that was the most interesting stuff to me. Like it was hilarious.
When you meet Bill Paxton.
When you meet Bill, oh my god! Like I was just on
the movie,
I was eating it up at that point. I'm like, dude, these characters, like all of the characters working together. Arnold and Jamie Lee Curtis are such a great pair. Arnold and Tom Arnold are such a great pair. Right. Arnold and Bill Paxton interacting with each other. Bill Paxton, Jamie Lee Curtis interacting with, like all the pairs just work.
I'm glad you're noticing that because Arnold, it really does. Well, you can pick on him for his size, his accent, and like his ability to act. But this movie, I think, really challenged him. I think he had to do comedy. Actually, he had to do everything. He had to be.
He's trying to
be. He had a fucking dance
smooth
in this movie, you know. So
yeah, he did the fucking tango.
But I'm glad you picked up on that chemistry because I think that is like the secret sauce. If you like this movie, that's what it is. It's because the awesome set pieces and the chemistry these characters have.
I was checking out all the movies before, and like everything's like Predator, Running Man. But he did do like Twins and Kindergarten Cop before this. But everything essentially has been like either action or comedy. But this
he's
one
got
kind
the
of
comedy
was
chops.
The mesh of the two.
He's still working on them at this point. But yeah, it's cool because in multiple interviews, both with Arnold and Jamie Lee Curtis, they reference this movie as like one of the favorite movies that they've ever worked on in their entire career. No
way, really?
And like the same with Tom Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger, like you could see they had such good chemistry. And like after this movie, they became really, really good friends. And like they were friends well after this movie. So all of the characters have great chemistry. There was multiple moments in this movie where I was laughing out loud. Like I don't normally laugh out loud during movies, but like
they're in places that you don't think. It's like when we saw last week with the Joker, when he's just like, "What do you think?" And he throws a cigarette down and trying to be all tough, and he walks into the door. It's just like what that comedy like came out of nowhere. This movie has full. One of my favorite. I totally forgot about this joke. But when like the villain is like yelling to the world about his nukes, his cameraman
I fucking love that.
Battery life is dying.
He's like, battery, Aziz. It was just... he was like sweating. Dude. He was so nervous to tell him that the battery was out. It was
like that scene, but like it was good because like it transitioned right into like the next beat, like what happens next. So it's well done. But yes, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting there to be so much comedic stuff in this movie, which I was pleasantly surprised by. Like I thought it was more like the way you framed it. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this going in, but the way you framed it, it was kind of a more like, serious role. And like with the cover
and like the title, it seems like it's
I'll be honest,
putting
I
itself
forgot
out as like a
how
serious movie.
silly it is.
It is very
Yes.
silly. Tons of
There's
comedy.
a lot of like suspension of disbelief, silly shit that Arnold's just doing
Oh yeah.
over
Oh,
and over and over.
100%.
But even the way it starts, though, it starts very serious 007,
Yep.
movie. And then once they start to get back to like real life and you start to see his double life and just Tom Arnold is just laying it on the entire movie, which is great. He's got
Yeah,
so
man.
many one-liners and he's kind of like the plot pusher.
He had a moment in the early 90s. I remember him being discovered by Roseanne and like kind of having like being like the fan favorite for a while on the show Roseanne, because Roseanne had like America's attention for a while. And he got this big break in this movie because this movie was like, I think the first movie to cost like $100 million.
Yeah.
But you're gonna give it to somebody like Spielberg. You're gonna give it to somebody like Cameron. Like there's some names that just like they're gonna deliver on what they promised.
And you can tell, like, it was nominated for like best special effects that year at the Oscars.
The movie holds up, dude.
Yeah,
I was
impressed
waiting
with
for
the
it to
effects.
show its age, and it's
There was only
the
one.
miniatures are-
There was only one
what was
scene
it?
where I noticed the ending scene where the dude is flying on the missile. That was
Oh
like,
yeah, but those are always.
it was
yeah.
very silly. It was meant to be silly though, which
There's-
is why it worked. Like I didn't really like. Okay, it looks dumb, but it was still funny.
But like Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare definitely saw this movie and
Yes.
were like when you see guys chasing after Arnold in
Dude,
that first
I was
act
thinking
down
Metal
the
Gear
snow.
this whole time.
They got skis
Well,
on.
the way he shows up underwater, right? And kind of
That
was
and
really-
just the ridiculous set pieces and shit. They're fighting on top of a fucking Harrier jet, like all that, like so many crazy things happen.
But dude, like this movie had those guys going down the hill on ski blades shooting machine guns, and I'm like, I feel like you only see
That's
that in like
definitely a Bond thing.
Bond for sure, yeah.
Then they had the
Like
snowmobile
GoldenEye.
guys coming in, and
yes,
like part of the reason why I think it aged so well is like there's not a ton of like special, like there's a lot of practical stuff that's going on
At this
throughout it,
time,
whether
yeah.
it's a lot of shooting guns and stunt. I caught Arnold stuntman multiple
Arnold's in
times
half of
during
this movie, bro.
Right.
I noticed that too. I'm like, I paused it. I had to go back and like, especially going back to the opening scene when like the snow scene, like he's not doing any of that. Like,
No
it's
way.
actually pretty good. He's rolling around on the ground and shooting, and then he's like running away from
sliding on his
explosions.
back, shooting people, and then he
And
just
it's like-
pops up backwards and
There's a
lands on
size
his feet.
difference.
Oh yeah.
So it's yeah.
Which-
I
A lot of those horse scenes too. You can see
yes
during the horse chase
with
scene,
HD.
like they hide his face behind the horse when they're like taking the shots and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
that's a whole another discussion though. That fucking scene.
I'm glad you noticed that because I was very it's distracting almost after when you
Whoever-
see it.
Before we get
Oh.
too far into the discussion, I did want to bring up something interesting. Like you said, Brandon, it costs $100 million to make.
Yeah,
It made $380 million, and it was the third highest grossing movie in 1994. Can you guess what the other two that beat it out were in 1994?
Jurassic Park in there.
No, that's 93.
Nope. Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump is number 2. Yes. Number 1.
Dumb and Dumber. Ace
No.
Ventura. Dumb and Dumber. No.
Dumb and Dumber is number 7, which is
Yeah, Jim
interesting.
Carrey's year was 1990. He did 3 movies.
The
in 1 year.
Mask is number 4, so right behind True
Yeah.
Lies.
Okay.
The Lion King, far and away
Yeah.
highest
What a
grossing.
fucking year!
Yeah.
The year of Jim Carrey and all these like awesome movies. Like fuck.
Yep. So.
Well,
I
hold on a
thought that was
second.
interesting.
I want to hear the top 10. Just go through
Oh,
the top 10.
okay.
I want to hear.
All right,
I want to
top
hear that
10?
year.
All right,
Just 'cause we're
1994 highest grossing. Lion King number 1, Forrest Gump number 2, True Lies number 3, The Mask number 4, Speed is number 5.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Crazy, not stupid.
The Flintstones was number 6, which
Ew.
was interesting. I'll get back to it.
I like
point
I
on
I'm
know
that.
never a
that's
big
my favorite movie.
Flintstones guy.
Dumb and Dumber was number 7. 4 Weddings and a Funeral was number 8. Never heard of that one.
Okay. British comedy, I think.
Number 9 was Interview with a Vampire, also another
Hey.
one that we did on this show a long
Cool.
time ago.
Great
And
movie,
number 10 was Clear and Present Danger.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison,
right?
yeah.
Yep. back to the Flintstones point. It's funny because who is it? John Goodman, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray were all up for the part of Gib, which was Tom Arnold's character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you're going with that. Oh, okay.
So yeah, just imagine any one of them in that role instead of Tom Arnold.
Was like hot when this came out, though.
Yeah,
it was.
I think he was a great choice for this role.
He is.
I mean, there was some big names that he was competing against, but like they made the right choice.
So, I was talking to you guys last night about the ages of these actors, and this is one of those things where like. I don't know if it's me being a young kid seeing this movie and they look old, and now they're just permanently older than me for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm 42, and Arnold was 47 in this movie.
No, he was 37, right? Or 35. 30,
Did I do my math
I think he might have been 35, actually. I forgot your numbers that you posted, but...
Well, Jamie Lee Curtis was 36, and Tom Arnold was 35. You can fact check me on how old Arnold was for that movie. I thought he was in his 40s.
I'm pulling it up.
I'll look it up.
Right
but anyways,
Arnold was 35. Jamie Lee Curtis was 36.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, Tia was 27. Arnold. No. Sorry, Tom Arnold was 35. Yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger was 47.
That's what I'm saying. I was doing the number. I was doing the math last night. Yes.
No fucking way.
That's
what
I'm saying.
47 in this movie.
He looks really good for 47.
Holy shit.
James Cameron's only 40 when he directed this.
What the hell? How old's Arnold today? I mean, I know he's in his 70s, but
68.
He's up there.
No, he's not.
68. That's what the site says.
That math doesn't seem like it adds
How
up.
old were the actors?
No,
this is what
Arnold is 75 today.
This is what
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at James Cameron. You're
okay. I was like, I know Arnold's in his 70s.
For anybody listening to us struggle through that. But like, anyway, it's weird seeing. So I don't know. Like, I was just blown away that Jamie Lee Curtis is 35 in this movie. I'm looking at my wife who's 39 going on 40. And I'm like,
comparing your wife to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis looks like she's 47 years old in this movie. Like the haircut, the style.
It's just the hair. It's the 90s, man. And those glasses.
Thing.
But,
they have ugly glasses on. Arnold, they have like the
outfits,
shoulder pads on outfits, and like.
Does Tom Arnold look younger or older than Dave?
Tom Arnold, I would thought he was in his 40s in this movie.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
But he just seems like an old soul, so.
Yeah, and randomly Charlton Heston is in this movie. We don't see much of him. I don't know why he was in this movie. He was just like the leader.
He was the captain, or whatever, the head guy of that Omega sector or whatever.
Yeah, he only had like 2 or 3 scenes where he just kind of barks at them, wants results, and then we don't see him ever again.
Apparently, like the idea behind his character, apparently James Cameron's huge into comic books, so like the inspiration for that character was Nick Fury.
I could see
even with the eye patch and everything, and like his role and position. So I think that was probably the thought behind that character, and he probably just was like, Charlton Heston, why not? It's a big name. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, a lot of big names, and then finally the I think the best character in this, which is Bill Paxton.
Oh my god, so good.
He's probably my favorite side character in any movie. I can't think of anybody who has less time in the movie, but like
uses it better.
He just adds so much charm to the scenes he's in.
Every little scene that, like, even when he's like driving in the car and he's singing to himself and like tossing the keys.
You think it's his car?
Yeah,
and then he pulls in.
Yeah, he's just eating it up. Like, I love that. I love that so much. And like
that's like his shtick is like pretending to be a secret agent, and then
oh my god,
that's how he picks up chicks and like tricks them into having sex with them. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
in
that
a
switcheroo
movie
was great.
Where the main character is this like James Bond kind of guy living a double life. Hey, I'm just like a computer salesman, but his wife is looking for adventure, and this guy just like throws himself in, and he's posing as like this. It's so
dude,
good.
I love it because everybody in this movie has like a secret, either a double life or just something they're keeping from another person, or something that they're not presenting themselves as. Yeah, so like like everybody in this movie has like a different persona, you know, like a double persona, which is
Tia Carrere, same thing. She reveals, oh, I'm actually not just like an archaeologist or whatever, funding like archaeological digs. I just want money.
Yep. I think it was that was one of the trivia things that I was looking up. Tom Arnold is the only person in this movie that was completely honest throughout the entire movie, which is interesting. Think about that.
That's a good point, because their other buddy,
the terrorist guy,
he has a Middle Eastern background, and they have him pose as the cameraman at the end, so he can take out a few of those guys. That's right, because even he has to be somebody in a scene, huh?
Yep. So I thought that was interesting.
Hold on a second, though. Tom Arnold's character does have to call. Is it Doris or what's her?
Helen. He helps Harry at the end.
He forgot his keys or wallet or whatever wallet. You know, he had to go back and get that.
True.
You know.
True. Okay, so you could say that he did.
Well, anywho, but the characters make it. But yeah, when Bill Paxton shows up, like I have just a big ass smile on my face in every scene he's in. And
as soon as I saw him, I'm like, they
must have
fucking
laughed their ass off.
Oh my god!
On set,
he was just eating it up, man. Like. When he was like in the scenes where he was pretending to be a spy, like he was so serious about it, talking to Jamie Lee Curtis's character. He's like, I got this. Yeah, fear's not an option. I got these important missions. You know, you're not safe with me. And then we see him
like
when he's by himself
in every scene too. I don't know why. He's just like a sweaty dude.
Yeah. Well, you could tell he probably smells like sausage or something, and he's like, just that sweaty. Right.
He lives in a trailer, you know.
He's just like a scumbag.
My other operations in like Paris and stuff are like, I gotta lay low.
See, but no, you see the way that they shot it though. She's behind him and he's looking at the camera, so she can't see his face, but he's like laughing at his own jokes as he's doing them, like he's so entertained with himself.
He's so good. I don't know. So like, his moments are so short, but like they are so good. And even that moment when he's in the car where my quote comes from, like scream for buttermilk, and he smacked in the face, like for a second there when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit! Like Harry just killed.
Dude, you just took him out, yeah.
You know, but it's just in his head, and I was like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, some of his quotes were amazing, like. The vet makes him wet. Like I'm just like I was like laughing out loud. I'm like, what the fuck? It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was not expecting. I mean, I knew Bill Paxton was in this movie, but I didn't know what character he was going to play, and I did not expect him to be in that role. But it was a pleasant surprise.
It's interesting. James Cameron did the screenplay for this movie. In this movie. From what I know, it's based off of this other movie called, it's like a French film called La Fatale or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically a guy who's like, I don't know, global spy or whatever. Some crazy, but he's living a double life, and his son, something goes on with his son. I haven't seen it, but came out a few years before this movie came out, and it was like the inspiration.
It was Arnold's idea. Like he saw that movie, and
I didn't know that. Okay.
wanted to. He's like, hey, I want to play a spy. Like that's basically where the whole start of this movie came from.
Schwarzenegger voice.
I want to be a spy.
Make me James Bond.
I just sell computers, and I'm massive.
Yeah, because Kindergarten Cop was right before this, right? So like I think James Cameron
was pretty close.
He wanted that like comedy element.
Last Action Hero was right before this, actually.
Okay, so he did have the comedy chops,
timing,
and experience. Yeah, so
and getting in on the role, what he is, what the role is, what the trope is, and
right.
Yep. Hearing his like behind the scene, like his home talk, where he's like, "Oh, we made a big sale today. We made a new program which can." Make appointments for you, and like he's just going on and on about it.
Yep.
Like, it is hilarious. Just his seriousness and his lying about it just cracks me up. I don't know.
It's a tight script. Like we talked about this in our older episode of Die Hard, where like the movie, like, yeah, it has a slower start, but it's trying to create another movie for
Yeah.
a hot minute, just so we can throw it upside down and say, here's what it
Kinda,
really
yeah.
is, you know, or like it's still funny and like there's action, but like these characters are gonna be introduced and it's just gonna be a fucking ride. But like it's a tight script, like the characters are really good. It's even the last 20 minutes, I was just like, oh my god, that's right, there's this whole other scene.
Yeah,
An airplane.
I was
I forgot about that, and the daughter.
it
It's
dragged
just-
on for me a bit. I was getting a little.
There's
like,
a lot
this
in
thing
this
is
movie,
still
though.
going.
I've-
'cause,
But
like,
think about it.
It probably didn't need
Today-
to be this long, but
No, could have
back
been cut
then,
out a half
it's not-
hour.
But think about it. 100. You know, they spent $100 million making this movie. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's got the new funny guy. It's got all this stuff going on. Like at that point, I think James Cameron wanted to say, "Here's what you get for $100 million
right, they got him.
A
It's a
big
fucking
ass
Gotta use the
summer
budget.
comedy
spectacular.
action." Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't get any more '90s action than this. I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know.
100%. Yep.
So good. I mean, right after Cameron got done with this, he went and did Titanic. So
And
Like,
he started
yeah.
making films after that.
well,
This right.
I don't know Titanic and then Avatar movies, which I don't consider Avatar movies.
He's got a very serious approach to it. Like he really believes in
Yeah,
that movie, though.
He
you know?
gets into it when he does his shit.
It's-
because, I mean, Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, like pretty much everything he puts out is just he shits gold.
Yeah.
Like he puts together some good stuff.
Right. So he did a hell of a job with like True Lies, but like when I was watching this, I was just like, I don't know if it's nostalgia, but like sometimes these old movies, they're just good at creating memorable scenes. So like, there's a fucking horse chase in this movie.
Dude, that's one of my
And it's just like
favorite
it's
scenes.
in there, but it's like cool. And like in modern movies, I feel like they still do like epic fights on top of a bus or whatever, but like it doesn't have the charm of like Arnold going through chasing the bad guy after doing a cool, you know, we've seen this before. Like he fights people in the bathroom. He's got the cigarettes with the
Mhm.
camera, and he takes those guys out. It was a cool fight, but the horse scene in the elevators, it was
That
just
and, like,
the jumping.
It's not like it was a pretty long scene too. Like they went through like street level through all through the hotel, like you said, up the elevators to the roof. They had this whole
The
sequence on the roof.
Yeah.
The old
horse gets
people.
in an elevator.
Say something. That's a beautiful animal you have there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not like they like you said, they spent the budget on this movie and they made that scene like its own thing.
Like I feel like Naughty Dog could make this game, like this a video game. Like
Right, it did. It, like you could see that
Yes,
in like an
man.
Uncharted game or something, where you're riding
Yeah.
a fucking horse through a hotel. But yeah, that was cracking me up. And then he was getting ready to jump the horse off the roof, and I'm like,
Oh.
"There's no way this horse is gonna fucking jump
Jeez.
off the roof."
I didn't remember if it did or not. I was holding my breath right there. I'm like, this
Yep.
is
I was
fucking
like,
couldn't
"There's no
remember
way
either.
that horse is just gonna send him over the edge."
it just like stops and he's like hanging there and he has to like have it like go backwards. Like this is just like tense.
Yeah.
Obviously he's not gonna die.
Right.
But like what a cool
They can't.
fun
There
thing.
was moments in this movie like they do a really good job of mixing the comedy with the action with the tense moments, because like even towards the end, like you said, they're not gonna die, but when they get captured and like they're kind of tied up and he gives them the truth serum and Jamie Lee Curtis asks him like, "Are we gonna die?" and he's like, "Yep." So
he goes
they're
on the way they're gonna die and
yeah. So yeah,
they
they,
could leave the timer on and we'll just blow up. She's like, stop. Yeah.
this movie is kind of a jack of all trades, and I think it does every element very well.
Yep. Yeah, the action scenes are spectacular. The like when the movie starts messing around with Helen, I think that's like when the movie really like we talked about when Simon, the character Simon, shows up and he's being a total phony. But like that's I think that's the magic of this movie, because you have all actors involved: Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and none of them are duds. It's like seeing Clue. Like it's good because they're all good at their role, and they're just
Mhm.
you can feel it, and like they're all saying their lines. They're all trying to like get around this situation where like Arnold is just like, is this guy Who like
Well-
first they thought it was real, like what's going on? Like she's just sleeping with some guy, but then it's like no, and they
I loved that
they
core.
realize
going on.
I love
making-
that core idea of it because like Arnold's living this double life, right? He's constantly lying to Helen about where he is. He's constantly coming home late. You know, he's hiding all this stuff, and then the tables turn on him when Helen starts doing the same thing. Like he knows that she's lying, so he's kind of getting him a taste of his own medicine there, and it's like, well, shit, I have the resources to actually figure
Right.
out what's
That's
going
what's
on
going-
here. So I'm
Dude.
I'm just gonna exploit all these government
starts-
resources and fucking
I
Taylor.
was like, what the fuck is going on when he's like pulling people off of assignments to trail his wife, like as she's going to meet Simon or something like that. Very gross misappropriation of government stuff. But
Yeah,
hey, you know, gotta make sure your wife's not
Yeah,
sleeping
not
with
cheating
a
on
secret agent.
Yeah.
But like even when they busted into his house, like they've got helicopters flying, they've got multiple SWAT teams.
dude,
Yeah.
that whole scene cracked me up.
it was so good.
If you can't do it for me, you can do it for your country. Oh my god, dude. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
they
that-
even along with all that, they pulled off like a dramatic scene as well. Because one of my favorite scenes was probably when they were interviewing Helen, as like when they captured her and brought her into the room. Because there's a lot of comedy and jokes going on there, but there's like a lot of sincerity from Helen's character. And like
Yeah.
when Harry asks
Yeah.
her, like, "Do you still love your husband?" Like yeah, of course I do. I always will. And like
Jamie Lee, yeah, and I mean, great actress. Like she's got that range of emotions
Her
where she
third
was.
time on our show.
She had.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, and now this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never
Great
like.
actress.
that's right. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just ladies with short haircuts or what, but like she's got a smoking body, but she's got the face of a
Yeah.
librarian when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like
It's just the
Like,
glass. Like
eighth grade
she's
school teacher. Like
Mhm.
even when she was
But
all
that was like
sexed
the
up.
whole thing. They were that was like what they're trying to do. They
Right.
were
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
she's
even
always,
after
like people were
even
attracted to her
after she
from
was fine.
Halloween and
She's got
stuff.
a
right.
she's got a little pencil dress on. Like
Yeah.
it's smoking hot.
I mean, I never
Like I
really
said-
thought of her like that before. Like, you know, she was like in Halloween, she was like, you know, the whatever teenage girl babysitter just trying to survive. And in everything else I've seen her in, she was like the old grumpy lady or whatever. So like seeing her in this movie, I'm like,
right.
damn, I was not.
She can.
I was not
know, she
expecting
can-
that.
And the way, like, you really felt like it was very believable. The way she was very timid and just
Mhm.
housewifey, like, oh, you know, it's just like freaking out. But then, like, she just gets this confidence real quick, where she starts making the decision, like, fuck it, if I'm gonna be in this role, I'm just gonna wet my hair.
Just
I'm
do
gonna
it,
be fucking
yeah.
Sexy, and all the gags are great in that
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
The whole everything about that was good. I just love the comedy in that. It's
Arnold's like fumbling with, he drops the tape recorder while he's like doing.
damn, you're so hot.
Right.
Oh shit. Do it again. Do it.
You can see his eyes. He's like, oh, what is she doing?
yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
She's like
Fucking
trying to do moves and
blast
she's
them.
like wipes out. I like that because why would she be so good at this? She wouldn't be like she's getting into it. You know, like she's starting to feel comfortable, like taking like control of her like life, I guess, at this point. But
Yeah.
she's also like not trained in any way, so she wipes out. And I thought those jokes are pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis is good. I like seeing her.
How about the bad guys? Like the bad guys are, I think it's I guess when this movie came out, it's in like
The Gulf War was
Operation
going on.
Gulf War stuff. Like so,
Mhm.
it's like stereotypical.
Yeah, it's like the
Arabian
faults of the
terrorists.
era. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like looking at your presidents. Like, well, short, like these early presidents were like great founding fathers, but they had slaves. Like, you know,
There was
they were products of their
something-
time, right?
There was
But shit
something
like
that
this
James
is, like,
Cameron
right-
said in an interview about this movie that I don't really buy, but like apparently he was scrutinized for using like Arab terrorists in this movie. You know, because you know he's like
They
making
were
a political
in a
statement,
lot
and it
of
was
90s
it
actually.
was during the
movies.
time, but he's in an interview. He's like, oh. They were just a convenient, you know, enemy. Like it could have been Irish terrorists, and it would have been the same movie. And I'm
They're
like,
from
it was
Kuwait.
not.
They-
Come on,
What were you? Yeah, no, yeah, he's just doing some PC. But
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Just like you see this movie, it totally fails the Bechdel test, by the way, like totally. And it's just like
What's the Bechdel test?
the Bechdel test is when if a movie, if you simply have a female
Mhm.
talk to another female that is not about a man. They talk about anything else.
Right.
And like Lord of the Rings fails it. Like a lot of things fail. It's really hard for a woman to talk to another woman that's not about a man. Think about it. Even in this movie, she has that woman that's like her friend in the office. It's only about her adventures with Simon, right? She doesn't talk about anything else. If she's talking to her daughter, it's about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
About her dad, yeah, right.
She's being sexy, and she's like, her character does complement Arnold's character, but anyways, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like all over the place, but it's a very '90s movie. The joke, the one-liners, the set pieces, which are incredible, but everything about it screams '90s to me. But yeah, you see it, and it's like it's a product of its time.
Yeah,
you know, because like, what is the story arc of, I guess, Helen?
Oh yeah,
that she gets confidence, but it's like only because of her husband's like adventure pulled her in. It's not her, but she's like, awesome in it anyways.
Could have done the entire movie without his daughter. Like
could have.
Yeah, she was just like, kind of like a plot device at the end there to like add an extra scene, you know, where she's kidnapped and they're holding her hostage.
Yeah, they're like, we got like $15 million left to spend. All right, let's get another miniature of an airplane, and then
because I agree. It like after Helen and Harry like escape from that island, like it felt like the movie could have ended there, but then it's like, oh shit, they have your daughter, but I loved Arnold hopping in the Harrier jet.
Like, I forget what he says to the pilot or whatever. He's just like, I got this. I'm gonna borrow this for a minute, and then he just jumps.
He did the same thing with the horse. He just
the pilot like.
Oh right, yeah.
I was like, okay. Yeah, the horse one. He at least had a line. He was like, federal agent in pursuit of something. In pursuit of a.
He just pulls him off the horse.
And you're like a cop, and you're trained to be like see through people's bullshit. It's like, hold on, this giant Austrian speaking dude is claiming that he's a what now?
The cop was just like, hey. Come back here.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He stole Buttercup. Somebody.
Yeah, dude.
I did love the fucking jet though. Like all the scenes with the jet. Like it was like something, you know, you don't really see in a movie. Fucking, you know, maybe stealing a helicopter or something. But a Harrier jet, he's just flying around fucking shooting out entire floors of terrorists. I'm like, this is just insane in the best way. Mm-hmm. So good.
How come Tia Carrera didn't have much of a career after this? As I was like when I was younger, I was like, she's attractive, but like, nah. Then I'm watching it now, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, not to be a pig, but like, all right, now I get it. Like, she is very.
What else
attractive.
was she in?
Like,
I don't even.
Wayne's World for a while. 1 and 2.
Okay, well, I've never seen Wayne's World. So.
What?
Oh my goodness!
It comes out.
Zoom in on my face. What? You're not worthy.
This True Lies was right after Wayne's World 2, actually.
Yeah, she was right after that as well. Yeah,
but it doesn't look like there's
not much after this.
There's not much. I mean, there's a lot after it, but nothing that we would really know.
She would have been. I mean, she basically played like the female fatale in like a Bond movie, but I feel like she would have been a good pick for a Bond movie.
She did a fair amount of voice acting.
Classy and sex. Oh, did she? Okay,
like Lilo and Stitch.
Classy and
apparently.
Oh no shit! Okay.
She was Nani and Lilo and Stitch.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of
voice acting, huh? Okay.
She was in Saints Row, the video game.
She's only
the video game
in her early 50s. I looked her up. She still looks good. Like I feel like I'd like to see her make a comeback in movies. Get her and like Elizabeth Hurley, who's like 56 and she's like a friggin' smoke show.
She's a goddess.
Yeah, like why don't you age? But like, you know, yeah, just I don't know. Just seeing the movie is like years later, and it's just like you see it different. Like, have you seen a movie that when you're a kid is like whatever, and then you'll be like, well, the mom's actually kind of cute.
I'm sure it's happened. I can't think of a specific example, but
like like the mom in National Lampoons. Like when you're a kid and you see that movie, you're just
mom.
It's just the mom.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you're not thinking about it that way.
Helen,
I'm
looking pretty good, Helen.
Yeah,
especially the first one.
I will say, this is something we've brought up with Die Hard, our Die Hard episode. This is something that we brought up with Dread, but this has to be up there with one of the best villain deaths of all time.
Oh, go on. What did you like about this death?
Well, for one,
Just so it's over the top.
I mean, it was just absolutely fucking insane. Like the whole sequence with the jet was insane when they're fighting on it, and like whatever, he has to try to save his daughter, and you know, he rolls the jet and he gets caught on the missile, and then of course you have to have the one-liner, the Arnold one-liner, "You're fired," and fucking launches
from what? What's he fired from?
He's being fired from the missile into the fucking It was just that was so
fired
good.
From terrorism.
So
and then it
Donald
goes
Trump
through.
See that? It's like, that's a good line. I'm gonna use it.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, is this before the Trump or thing or not?
I like that. That's a good. I'm gonna use that. Yeah.
But the missile goes through the building into the helicopter of the other terrorists.
The helicopter happened to be at the same level.
Well, I love that.
And like the missile still flies straight with like a human 100, 200-pound weight sitting on the front of it that would just
of
drag
course.
it down. That'd be hilarious even if he hucked him into the side of the building and just blew it up there too. But the building floor that he just blew up, like in a scene before.
Gotta have that dramatic villain death.
I mean,
that was great.
Classic Arnold action movie.
Yeah, I think the villain could have been done better. I think that's one of the weird spots. It's just like, hey, they're Middle Eastern bad guys, and
no, like,
but like the guy says like some legit shit. He says like, you're bombing our children, and like that shit was happening. Like the United States was like blowing up bad guys, but also innocent people.
It felt weird because they started out with the terrorist stuff, right? They were pursuing these terrorists. Then they completely disregard that for like most of the movie when they're dealing with Helen and Helen and Simon and all that stuff. And then after it's all revealed, like Harry's they get captured by the terrorists. It's like, oh, the terrorists are relevant again all of a sudden, and now they got these nukes and they're
I watched it with my wife, and she was very confused when they all she just got done doing the sexy dance, and
and they just get captured
They just like bust in, and she's like, "Who the fuck are these
it's convenient,
guys?"
But it's still funny because she thinks she's on the job, when he's really on the job, and she's only on the job because of him. And I thought that was good because there's really serious shit going down, but they don't act that she doesn't act scared at all. She's just kind of like upset about it.
She's just going along with it.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, but she was at that point she's down.
The terrorists did have like one of the funniest names of like, if you could have like an AI or like the cheesiest terror group name, you would call them the Crimson Jihad.
Jihad.
I know. That sounds like an 18-year-old made that up.
Crimson Jihad.
Out loud when he's making this impassioned speech at the camera or whatever, and
they're shooting their guns in the air.
I busted out laughing. I'm like, oh my god,
the Crimson
I know.
Jihad. You will know the name.
Like video game.
Yeah.
What's up with that one? Not to pick on anybody, but like, what was up with that one? He was so distracting then, and still, he's this massive,
the nipples,
big, tall. No, he's a giant guy. He's very big and very wide, and he has like long hair and this beard. He's one of the thugs. He's like driving the limo and he gets shot in the back of the head. At the bridge scene. That guy. It's just, how can somebody look like that? He looks like a cartoon character or like a Pixar character. Like he just looks so.
I thought you were talking about one of the thugs, one of the terrorists. He had like a mesh shirt on, and you could like see his nipples.
That guy.
Yeah, I'm like, what is up with that guy? Why is he wearing that?
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I know we're pretty much done here, but like the bridge scene, which was a miniature.
Oh, really?
I rewatched it. I was like, this is very impressive. It's really cool seeing how I looked at the making of that scene.
That's cool.
On YouTube. And this guy was saying like all the things they went through. It's all this engineering and how they had to make everything and then fly it out to like the location from like, their studio in California to like South Florida, whatever. But like making everything to scale, it's a cool story, and about what he had to deal, like, because he knew about the guy who's gonna blow everything up. He's like, this guy's known for overdoing it, so he's like, so to work with this guy, I had to like I put all these like perfect little areas that you could put stuff in, but he made it small so that he couldn't overdo it. And it's just like it kind of, but it worked out. And here's the only thing that I thought was really cool, like really cool. So knowing that it's a miniature set, that truck is not real. That's when it's blowing up one after the other,
Yeah.
and they get this truck going across.
Yeah.
It's all miniature. And he says, just in case it comes out, technically in that miniature, there's a nuke warhead in like some kind of container. So in that model of the vehicle, the inside is an unseen nuke warhead miniature version in there. He said, I was just worried that we put all this effort into getting the shot, and then like the vehicle pops open or whatever and reveals inside
the doors
nothing.
open and there's
Nothing's
nothing
in there, right?
So he said, in case I wanted to have that
That's
there. He's
funny.
like, we did 2 takes. We did this twice and never had to use it, but it's in there. And I'm like,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
cool.
I want to watch this.
it's
cool,
cool.
man.
To see it. Yeah.
I thought that was really down there because there is Route Route 1 down in Key West, and it's just like that one highway that goes along that archipelago of islands. Like up
They
in
probably
Florida.
shot.
They
Maybe
did
like
some
some of the
filming.
scenes.
They did. I know they did because they closed off the bridges to do some filming down there. So like some of like the driving scenes, I think, like where you see Jamie Lee Curtis like hanging out the the fucking sunroof,
which
of
were
the
really
limo
good.
and
Like I
everything.
had to when it's not probably not her, but like when they show the scene of Harry grabbing Helen's arm and pulling her out of the limo, and then the vehicle goes off of the bridge into the water. I had to rewatch that. How did they do that shot?
I don't know.
How did they do that?
Very
Because the person
carefully.
is literally halfway in the vehicle while the other person's grabbing onto him.
and then
And
the
they get
vehicle
pulled out,
falls
and the
they
vehicle
go
falls
up.
off and goes
I mean,
into the water.
That's why this movie was
And I'm
nominated
like,
for its special effects.
Holy fuck! How did they pull this off? I love when I see old
Looks great.
shots like that, and it still holds up, and it makes me wonder how
Dude,
they
I think everything in this movie, like all the special effects, I didn't really like notice anything, like I said, bad. Besides,
Right.
like
Camera.
besides the last fucking thing with the missile.
Yeah.
But that was meant to
I'm
be
on a rocket.
silly. That was meant to
Yeah.
be silly. So I'm like, that gets a pass. But everything else, I'm like, this. I was looking for seams and like things that looked weird and funky, but I wasn't really finding anything. I'm like, this looks
Right.
good. Like all this, especially I was looking at stuff with like the jet and everything, like when Arnold was flying it, and I'm like, this all looks legit, man. It looks really good.
And the camera work is good. Like
Mhm.
there's scenes where like there's a scene where Arnold is starting to push Tom Arnold's character into going after Helen, and the camera's above their vehicle through a sunroof, and it just slowly like comes down and goes like it. The camera work is really good. There's like a really cool scene of Arnold in the halfway in the movie when you think he's like killed, right? And there's a big explosion, but he jumps in the water and he's holding his breath, and you just see like all these flames over him while
Mhm.
he's in the water, and he's just trying to go really far to get away from it. I thought that was a really cool shot. And then the Jamie Lee Curtis scenes when she's being like all sexy and shit, like with her legs, where she like kind of goes in front of the camera, and you see like him in the dark. Like these are very iconic shots to me, and they're just very 90s action scenes and
framed very well. Where, like,
framed very well. Like
the shadows
I
just
can
on his
just do
face
it.
perfectly, and
Mhm.
just kind of sitting in the dark being a creep.
I'm sorry, but anyone who's been married that long would have known right away that it was their spouse. Like she beat him over the head. She was kicking him while he was on the ground. You would know that's him. Come
Just
on.
go, Alan,
Right. As soon as
Alan, it's me.
she only knew it
The
was him
China
when she talked.
sausage.
When he talked, yeah.
That's it.
Like whatever.
It's the only time.
Suspension of disbelief, but I mean,
The whole movie's a suspension of disbelief. It's just a ride.
yeah.
It's a fun
It is
summer
super
blockbuster.
fun.
They should have been killed as soon as they
That's
were
why
captured.
That's why we're doing Summer
Summer of Arnold,
because,
yeah, baby.
You gotta, you,
It's
you don't have
just-
to watch films all the time, right, Dave? You can
Yeah.
watch some movies in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
random dumb fun. You can't have broccoli for dinner every night. You gotta have some junk food here and there. This is just visual, action-packed junk food. Num num num.
All right.
I'm good.
What do you got? Yeah. Well, should we wrap it up here? I think we've
Yeah, let's wrap it
Yeah.
up.
we've said a
Mission
lot.
com-
Complete.
I am so
Mission
glad.
complete. Yes.
So glad that I watched this movie. And I'm really glad that I'm filling
You can
some
see
of
why
my Arnold holes.
Arnold is one of the biggest action stars out there.
Man,
You know?
this movie, yeah, it really did. It had it all, and it did it all really well. And
Wait, have you seen Total Recall?
I have, but like when I was a
I
kid,
can't
so
wait
I
to see
barely
that
remember
again.
it.
Because that one has
I
like
got- that's
90
on my-
special effects
It's
in
on my top one.
Yeah, Summer of
Yeah.
Arnold, Total Recall, Running Man.
it.
Running
At
Man-
least those
Running
two.
Man is great.
So we'll get those in. We'll get those in soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But all right, yeah, we'll end Act 2 here with our discussion on True Lies, and when we come back, we're bringing back an old favorite for Act 3, a little game of Metacritic Mayhem.
I knew
You
it.
guessed
That was
it.
I knew it.
the first
You
episode.
guessed
All right,
it.
very good. I knew it. Sweet.
We will be back
Okay.
right after a short little break. After this. And we are back with a little round of Metacritic Mayhem. If you don't remember this one, we did this way back in the day. This is an old favorite of ours that I came up with on, was it the first episode?
Yeah.
Was it really the first episode?
Yeah.
That's
what
insane.
my memory says. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're bringing it back. We haven't done it in a while. It's fun. If you don't know how it works, basically, we're going to do best of 5 here. So we're going to do 5 movies. Whoever gets the most correct wins. I'm going to say a movie, and you guys will flip-flop who goes first, but you'll guess a number, Metacritic score, and whoever's the closest, higher or lower, gets the point. And obviously, we're going to do all Arnold movies for this one. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So let's strap in.
Cue it up.
We'll see who. Let's pick a number between 1 and 10 to see who goes first. What number am I thinking of, Brandon?
You're thinking of number 3, obviously.
No,
Dave?
number 7.
David, you are spot on. Number 7.
Hey.
So Dave gets to guess first.
This game is rigged already.
Wait, I get to guess first. That's not good. That's a punishment. You want to guess second.
Oh, that's true. Well, I already made the
That's
rules,
fine.
so you
I'll
get
go
to guess first.
Congratulations, you're handicapped.
Hey.
All right. What do you think the Metacritic score is of Jingle All the Way?
Jingle all the way. This is Metacritic. And We're going
Metacritic.
by the critics, not the audience, right?
Yes, this is
there's
the
only
meta score, the Metacritic score.
Jingle all the way. I mean, it is a holiday classic, but I can't see.
You know those
Can't see
critics.
critics loving them. Yeah, critics don't know how to have fun. They can't interpret between a film and a movie. I'm gonna say it's got like a 76.
Okay, Brandon, what say you?
64.
Okay, I I have to give the point to Brandon, but you guys are way off. It is a 34.
I want to go 50s, but when you said 70s, it might be.
A
Critic
34, yes.
Don't know how to have fun.
Yeah, that's a shame because like
34.
dumb charm, like dumb fun is a charm, and I think it's really hard to pull off that feeling inside. Like, yes, Dave, it's not a film, but it's like going for something here that was like what we signed up for, and like that's hard to see when they're comparing it to like Citizen Kane and shit. You know, I mean, like,
yeah.
and I make that mistake too, but
All right,
on stuff, but yeah, cool. All right,
one on the board for Brandon.
34. Damn.
So Brandon, you're guessing first this time. What do you think the Metacritic score of is of? I keep getting that wrong. We were just talking about it. Total Recall.
Man, now I'm like, I want to say a 78.
Okay, Dave.
It's
What
right
say
about
you?
where I wanted to be too, because Total Recall is good. I mean, I love the movie. I'm gonna go a little higher, I guess. I'll go 80.
80.
Dirtbag.
80. I don't know. 80, sure.
Well,
I'm just looking at like Rotten Tomatoes and critics
Yeah.
or critics and audience. having
82 hit my head at first.
Would-
So when you said
What did you say again, Brandon? What was your score?
70 something, 70.
Yeah, what was your score, Brandon? What did you say?
70, was it 78, 76, something like that?
Okay. Well, either way, Brandon, you will get the point again.
I was in the
70
70s.
70 something.
You'd be surprised. Set a Metacritic score of 60.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Really?
With these people.
So it's like the critics just see Arnold in it. It's like instantly not a good movie.
I don't know. I don't know
Just
what
his
it is.
accents, like
Some of these
he doesn't even
scores
change
are
his act. He's not acting.
some of these scores are a little rough.
Oh, okay. There's a hint, Dave.
Well, no. Now that I know, I see they're giving Total Recall a 60. Like that Jingle All the Way a 34.
let's-
Sweet Jesus.
We'll throw a little monkey wrench in here. Sort of, but we'll go with one of the better known Arnold movies. We'll go with Terminator, the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Dave.
Critics. I mean, critics are even still pricks about those kind of movies, but that one is one of his highly regarded movies. I think that is one of his top ones. Gotta be. I'm gonna stay in. I'll stay in the 80s. I'll say 82.
Okay, Brandon, what say you?
It's good. I was thinking 86, so I'm gonna say 84.
Brandon, you should get double points because you are right on the money with 84.
really?
Yeah.
Swooping in on me. Damn it, you crushed me.
Wow.
Alright.
All
Like a
right.
grape.
I mean, that's 3-0, but we can finish out. We can do two more just for the.
Give
Let's
me-
just be real quick.
Yeah,
the
let
hell
me
of
get
it.
one at least in here.
All right.
I gotta know what T2. I gotta know what T2 is.
All right.
I
Let's
gotta
do
know.
T2 next. What do you think?
That
T2.
movie is incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
I would
you're up
say
first.
I would say 92.
I'll say 90.
You'd be surprised to learn that
It's
it's
gotta be lower.
only a 75.
It's lower than
It is lower
Terminator?
than the first Terminator movie. Yes.
that is insane. Like I remember being blown away by that movie. I was a kid, but still, I was just like, "This movie's incredible." I've
All
never
right.
met anybody who didn't like it. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, last one. Is there any that you want to do?
Yeah, Running Man
All right.
and Commando and Predator. Let's do those real quick.
All right. Running Man. What do you think?
80. No, 70.
I'm gonna say Running Man. It's gotta
It's
be
a bit campy.
62.
Dave, you got the point. It was 45.
All right.
Let's do Predator next.
Predator's
84.
Gotta be lower too. 73.
47.
Wow.
Like You know,
These movies are regarded as classics, though.
One of the critics said, like,
Classics
this
of
is
the
the most
genre.
hollow experience I've ever seen. Like, people, yeah, I don't know. All right, Commando. Another one that may surprise you.
52.
Oh, Dave?
That's about where I was thinking. We'll go 42.
These critics have spoiled us now. It was a 51.
Oh, there
Okay.
you go.
Man,
God.
that's a shame. Well, whatever. I mean, like it's all subjective.
Yeah, the highest
You know,
rated
the rating number.
the highest rated Arnold movie on Metacritic was the first Terminator movie at 84.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, yeah, that's critics for you. I don't know
So the film degree will give you.
if they're just
No fun.
hating on Arnold in general, or I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, most of his movies are in the lower echelon. Like Kindergarten Cop has a 61, True Lies has a 63.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I don't know. Critics hating on Arnold, but
Hey,
Arnold,
Twins sucks. He tries to do a comedy. with
Twins
Danny
was
DeVito.
actually a higher rated one. Which, let me get that number for you.
74.
Twins was,
sounds about right. 76.
Junior was 59. Twins was, okay, maybe not. It was 53. But still higher than
Yeah.
Commando and Predator. Imagine that.
Predator, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Whatever.
You can't judge
That's-
anything.
I
based on
still will
that.
never stop thinking about that one guy who thought Jurassic Park was a bad movie. I forget what it was on. It
Like-
wasn't on Rotten Tomatoes. It might have been on like Metacritic.
It was,
or
I think
some...
it was on Metacritic where somebody I was just looking through and I was just looking at like the negative reviews for Jurassic Park or something.
It
like
just
that.
blew me away that some
Right,
guy was
yeah.
just
Some guy
like,
gave it like a 3.
saw that and thought that and wrote that. I was like, how?
People love to be contrarians, though.
It's
and,
true.
You know,
Well, like, dude, we watched Joker. We all loved it. And what did all of our listeners say in the comments? Most of them were saying, overrated, man. It's just so subjective.
It's true.
You don't know.
That is very
But
true.
you like what you like. You don't like what you don't like.
Well
but
said.
you got to appreciate what makes things, what goes into
But
things,
that's
and what makes
what we
things
try to
what
do.
they are.
It's
yeah.
really hard to make something from nothing. It's really cool to see somebody make a world, make a story, make something happen, and try to tell you with that. Yeah, we just happen to pick a lot of the good ones.
We just got good taste. That's all.
Maybe.
All right, let's get out of here. That was fun. Bringing back some Metacritic mayhem. Still shocked by some of those
I got
scores
spanked.
for Arnold, but yeah, Brandon,
Yeah.
you're going to, I don't know, fucking
Spy camp.
Omega Sector, whatever it was called. Yeah, you're gonna be trained to be a federal spy. So congratulations.
It's like Jamie Lee Curtis in 1 year goes from like data scientist
Right.
to the lawyer's office.
Now
or
she's
something
just
to
like
a
living the
secret
spy
agent.
life.
She's like living the. We're on.
Right, Doris and Boris.
Excuse me.
Let's go. So,
Yeah, that was a bit stupid.
whatever. It was fun.
Did she go through training? They just put her on the
No,
job. Hey, you know you survived that
training.
somehow?
You don't need
Yeah.
training. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to follow us on our travels and journeys, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can join our Discord, the nomadsfantasy.com/Discord. Check out we got the merch link store up on the nomadsfantasy.com. Check that out as well. We're going to be adding more stuff in there. As we go.
Play what map game?
Play What Map Game, whatmapgame.com. If you want to guess some video game maps, it's fun. Post it in our Discord, nomadsfantasy.com/Discord. I don't know if I said that already, but either way, do it. Send us an email, nomadsfantasy@gmail.com. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you boys this week. Was there anything else before we get the hell out of here?
Good. Excited for some aliens next week.
That's
Watch
right.
Contact.
We're watching Contact next week. If you want to
Oh
follow
my God.
along
Am I
with us,
hosting that one?
I
Oh, this
think
is gonna
you
be-
are.
It's gonna be a treat. Oh boy, oh boy.
Yep,
All
yep.
right.
All right, so tune in next week with Contact, and as always, safe travels, Nomads.